business seminar. I couldn't afford it at the time, and I had to borrow the money from my dad, but I made it happen. And I also roomed with like 4 other girls because it split the hotel costs. If you've never done that before, maybe you did it last night. But anyway, that was the first business seminar that I went to, and when Brianna said $140,000 this year, that was the business seminar that I went to in September of 2013. And that was the Beachbody 2012, sorry. You're right, because that would have been a short time ago. 2012. And I've gone to 5 events since, and you probably think I'm crazy, but some of you don't, and some of you know exactly why we keep going. And that's exactly why you need to be going too, to your first Danny Johnson event. How many of you are studying her materials, have listened to her audio, read her books, or been to a seminar? Awesome. You guys are in this as professionals, and you are going to go very far. The rest of you, please write this down, www.dannyjohnson.com, DANIJOHNSON.com. You can get some free information there to start out, but that would be my first step that I would suggest to you. So I went to this seminar, and came out of this seminar on fire, and I not only had motivation, but I had technique. I had action steps to help me build my business back to the point where I could get right and sustain it. It's one thing to reach diamond. It's another thing to keep it. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And that's what you want. You want to learn how to sustain it. Same thing as weight loss. It's one thing to lose 10 pounds. It's another thing to keep it off. Yes?
Yes.
So, I went to this seminar. I came out of this seminar, realized that I needed to increase my personal productivity. Well, then I did. And me being the Ruby personality that I am, that you'll learn about very soon, I was working like 8-hour days, and at that point I was a full-time Beachbody coach because I quit my job about 8 months in. And so I realized that I cannot work this much because nobody's going to want what I have. Do you want to work 8 hours a day on your home computer? No. Well, you probably could if you wanted to, if you don't like your job right now, but I'm going to tell you that that's not something that you want to do. So what I did was I helped develop Power Hour. The Power Hour system, do we have that PowerPoint? Mariella? Yeah. Do we not have a PowerPoint? Yeah. Okay. So we developed Power Hour, and it's a time system that you can build your business in 1 hour a day. So a show of hands, who has implemented Power Hour before? Who's tried just one? Just one. Okay. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up if you have consistently been using Power Hour now for a week. Okay? Consistently using Power Hour for over a month. By consistently, I mean about 3, 4, 5, if you're balls to the wall 6 times a week. How many of you have been using Power Hour now for consistently over 6 months? Okay, very some of you. So it seems like some of you may have tried it and maybe are not able to sustain it. But what I'm going to tell you is if you consistently use this system, this will grow your business. Yes? Those of you who have been using it, have you experienced results? Crystal? Yes? Crystal just started using Power Hour again in the last 2 weeks. Crystal, how much was your paycheck this week?
Mine was my highest. It was $303.
$300 this week. Her highest paycheck ever, because she came in and she started using Power Hour consistently for only 2 weeks.
And that's after having 7 of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
7 weeks of zero pay. And she implemented Power Hour for 2 weeks and she made $300. Is that worth your time?
Yes.
Yes. That's worth your time. You guys need to get more excited. This is your future. This is your future of your family that you have in your hands. I know it's been a long day, but you're going to have those. Just get fired up. I do like it here. So, duplication. You've heard that word. It's just, a general term that you're probably tossing around now. But what you do duplicates. What you don't do will also duplicate. So let that sink in. If you're not doing Power Hour, you can't explain that to your team. My friend Annie, over here from an entirely different organization, shows her team Power Hour. Are you doing Power Hour, Annie? And then so when she shows her team this system, they're going to do it also. You can't expect your team to do something that you're not willing to do yourself, right? So, Power Hour is about time, activity, self-discipline, and repetition. Time. How much time do I really need? You need 1 hour a day. When I first started, I was working as an assistant preschool teacher for about 35 hours a week. I was a brand new fitness instructor, and then I was driving beer cart at the golf course. That was a fun job. And so I had maybe an hour or two each day, and so I did that. Like Christina said, I came in and I said, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And so she told me what to do, and I did it, and that's why I'm here. And so I worked for about an hour or two each day for 8 months until I generated the income that I felt was comfortable to where I could step away from my job. So then I stepped away from my teaching job. I was still driving beer cart that summer because it was just too fun not to. And so then I just continued to work my business an hour or two each day. The following fall, I gave up my beer cart job, and that's when I officially went full-time Beachbody. And that's when I had a lot of time. And how many of you find that when you have too much time, you waste it? Some of you have limited time right now, and you are in the best position to get the most done, because that's self-discipline with your time, yes? Some of us have too much time, and that's when we waste it, unfortunately. So that's where the time comes in. You need 1 to 2 hours a day max. What do I do? I'm going to teach you. Self-discipline, consistent. All of those hands that were raised who have tried Power Hour for maybe a day, maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months, that's where that self-discipline is going to come in. You've got to be self-disciplined to schedule this time in your appointment book, to highlight it, just like you schedule time for work, for your workouts, for your family, for your free time. You got to schedule in time for your work too. And repetition. We've got a Power Hour video. For those of you that are brand new to Power Hour, please raise your hand if this is an entirely new concept that you've never heard before. Okay, just a few of you. I'm going to touch base on it, but I'm also going to leave you with a resource that you can go investigate for yourself. Okay? There's a YouTube video. It's on my YouTube channel. If you Google, write this down, because you're going to want to share this with your team, because what you do duplicates. It's called Time Secrets, Power Hour, Lindsay Krause. It's a 30-minute YouTube video. How many of you watched it? How many of you have found it helpful? How many of you have shared it with other people? Thank you, because you're helping them. You're helping them manage your time. Pardon me? Yeah, Time Secrets, Power Hour, Lindsay Krause. Hit the subscribe button. There's a couple other videos that are probably going to serve you very well on that channel too. So this is Power Hour. Don't worry about taking a screenshot of this. Go to YouTube and get the better screenshot, because you're going to want to look at this every day. So what Power Hour is, in just a very quick outline, is it's 1 hour of work, and maybe if you've got 2 hours, then you're going to divide it into 40 minutes each. I taught preschool, just the low grade math. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to initiate your outgoing conversations. Throughout this day, you've gotten thrown a lot of ways to initiate conversations. Yes? Are you ready to put them to work? This is what you're going to do. Thank you. The first part of your work day, your work hour, you're going to reach out to them. If you always have outgoing, you'll always have incoming. How many of you hate it when you log onto Facebook and you have only maybe 2 messages to respond to? Well, you should hate it if you're wanting to grow a large business. How many of you would love if you were to log onto Facebook and see that little red number hit 20, 25, 30? Because like we've been talking about all day, whether they're questions or objections, they're good because it's interest, yes?
Yes.
So you always want to have outgoing if you always want incoming. You want to keep your funnel full. And by funnel, I mean like this, and you can see that little line down there. People are going to start trickling through that funnel. And that's going to be sales. That's going to be coaches. So you always want to keep that funnel full. When your funnel starts to dwindle, when your inbox starts to lessen, that's when you've got to pick up your outgoing, because apparently you've been slacking in that area. Okay? Another point of self-discipline. Recognize your shortfalls, right? So that's your first portion. That may only take you 10 minutes. If you have a system of copy and paste, it should really only take you 5. And then you can get to the real meat of your work time, which is following up and inviting. If you never ask, the answer will always be no. True? Yes? Yep. If you never ask, the answer is always going to be no. Some of you are still dealing with that fear. And apparently Victoria didn't do that good of a job of instilling that conviction in you, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So this is your meat of your work time. This is when you're going to be forming people, and this is where you're going to be inviting and setting up appointments. Whether it is inviting to challenge groups, webinars, fit clubs, home parties, Christina already went over this. You have multiple ways of helping people. So this is where the bulk of your work time is going to be in. It's in following up, forming, and setting appointments. We're going to talk about appointments here next. And the last is your to-do list. This is, if you get anything from this, please do this. Always have a to-do list right beside you. How many of you guys get distracted when you're on Facebook? Facebook is a distraction, right? But it's our business. It's our form of communication. You're meeting people halfway. They're on their phones. They're on their computers. So you're going where they are. But you're also entering a area of distraction, right? You've got things popping up everywhere. You've got notifications, red things everywhere. And you're like, oh. And then 4 hours later, you've got nothing done. And that's so sad because you really intended to sit down and work, right? So have a list right beside you. And when you're in your power hour and something comes up and you're like, I need to do that, you write that on that list. You do not do it right then. You write it on your list. It's priorities. It's saving it, like Shalene says, let me check my schedule, I'll get back to you on that. Somebody has a question while you're working your power hour, let me get back to you on that. Okay? You don't have to answer people immediately, especially your coaches. I love to do this to some of you. If you have a question, I won't answer it for like 12 hours, because I'll usually get a comment back, oh, never mind, I found it. Good for you! Right? So always have that list next to you. And that list is going to include personal professional development. You should be doing that in the morning anyway, because the shower is a waste of time, right? Getting ready is a waste of time. Driving the car is a waste of time when you're not listening to some form of audio, right, Eric? Mm-hmm. So that to-do list could include any of those activities that you could also delegate to. But let's move on. So that's Power Hour. Find out more information by watching that video. It's about 30 minutes long. When do you think you can watch it? You just wait. So if I give you a call the next day, Deanne? Just kidding. So that's Power Hour. And it's worked magnificently. Please do this for you and your family and your time's sake and your sanity. Please implement Power Hour. Okay? Promise me you'll do that. So, we're going to talk about organization, but not in the way of Allison, because Allison's way much better than I am. I actually learn a lot from Allison in the form of spreadsheets. Have you not? Yes? And so, we're going to talk about having a business mindset. Christina touched on this a little bit, and so I'm not going to go too far into it, but I will leave you with this. If you treat this like a real business, it will pay you back like one. Yes?
Yes.
If you treat this like a real business, it will pay you back like one. You will need to invest your time, your effort, and your money. How many of you have invested money into this? All of you should have your hands raised. You started with a product, right? Some of you have even gone as far as Christina's got. You should be jumping up and down at this point because it's going to take a lot more than just that challenge pack. It's going to take a lot more than just that challenge pack to help you build this business. You will invest in books. You will invest in audios. You will invest in business cards, in services, in education, in seminars. How many of you, well, I shouldn't say that. It's a terrible example because you're all here, so you're going to raise your hand. been to an out-of-town seminar? An out-of-state seminar? How many of you have flown to a seminar? That's investment of time, money, and effort. And that's what it's going to take. It's not just going to take that challenge pack. Sometimes when I sign up new coaches, I want to be like, it's going to be about $1,000 investment. You think I would have the same response? Some of you may think no, but I'm going to teach you. Yeah, I would still have them sign up because of what I'm going to teach you in here in a minute. But it's not just about that challenge pack. It's about investing much more time, effort, and money into that. If you can be trusted with what you have now, you will be given more. Some of you complain about your business and your customers and the fact that you only have one person that orders 21-day fix. Can you be trusted with that person if you're whining and complaining that you only have that one person? No. You need to help that person. Because like Lindsay said, that person, that testimonial, is going to bring you referrals and bring you people for your next challenge group. You treat them like gold, and you give them, they're going to carry their 50 bricks, and you carry your 50 bricks, and you're going to help them best you can. But that person is what you can be trusted with now. Later, you'll be trusted with more. If you're in a plateau right now, and the only reason I can ask you this is because I ask you stuff every day. I was in a huge plateau this last 6 months, and it was because I disconnected from my team, physically and mentally. I just kind of checked out, and I thought, you can do it yourself. I want independent people, so you just go figure it out yourself. Totally wrong approach. We do want independent coaches, but we do need to guide them and take them in steps, but I just took the totally wrong approach. And my paycheck showed it, right? If you've ever got a paycheck and you're in a plateau, you got to ask yourself, where am I being greedy? Where am I being greedy? Where am I being wasteful? Whether it's with people, with time, or with money. You go and blow your Beachbody paycheck every Thursday. Do you expect it to grow? Yes? No? No, you can't blow it. I put at least 40% of my paycheck back into my business. My first paycheck was maybe like $100. I didn't tell you about that too. I bought business cards for like $30. That was my first investment that I made with that. So a little bit about business mindset. Documenting. Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. So Allison gave us some great tips on organization, yes? On using spreadsheets, on tracking, and that's what you want to do. You want to track your business. I loved how, Lindsay, you had that slide up here where it showed the Facebook post and how many likes and comments and conversations, and then you even went to the extent where you gave your results from that post. I didn't see that, right? You document what you've been doing. You can figure out why you're getting what you're getting and why you're not getting what you think you should, right? So, blindly versus strategically. There's strategy to this business. Believe it or not, you can't just sign up and go and talk to as many people as you can. Sign up 30 coaches and then just hope for the best, right? There's some strategy to this. It's funny and it's sad at the same time because I just had a coach right in my group page. She's a diamond coach. And she goes, we were talking about putting certain people in different legs and strong leg versus weak leg and overflow volume or carryover volume and things that you might not understand right now, but you will. And she had no idea any of those things. She's like, oh my God, I didn't know any. What's carryover volume? She has like 2,000 carryover in her business. That's money that's sitting there waiting for her that she had no idea. Some of you just wake up on Thursday and you're like, yeah, I got paid, right? You don't even look into where that money came from. You're just happy you got it. That's working blindly. Working strategically is looking into that paycheck, looking into commissions, team cycle volume, matching volume, and figuring out where exactly that dollar came from. How many of you can say that you do that? Well, that's great, because I just started doing it. And then it's working. I was working blindly before. I was just doing everything and hoping for the best. And now I realize that there's strategy, and there's a reason why I had to go to the biggest paycheck ever last week. It's because I'm implementing this. So this is also going to help you fill in the holes. Where am I falling short? of if that helped you. Great. For the rest of you, when you look up that Power Hour video, you're also going to want to watch that one, because that's really going to help you too. Okay? Promoting like a pro. Lindsay touched on this. Authentic versus quick sale. The authentic promoter is going to promote what the people want. You bait the hook with what the fish wants. What do people want? Go ahead, shout it out.
Get healthy.
Yeah? This way.
Make money.
Support.
That's the stuff. Most of this all can fall into one category. So you want results, right? You want results in different areas of your life? Yes. People want results. So an authentic way that you can promote is with results, with testimonials. And this is why I wanted to share my first paycheck was that $100, actually my first sale. When I signed up in July of 2011, I actually made my very first Shakeology HD sale before I even got my own bag in the mail yet. You want to know how I did that? That woman back there in the pink, I shared her story. I was talking to a couple people and I said, you know, I don't know really what this stuff is, but what I do know is my friend Christina, she's lost like 20 pounds, and I don't know, but if you want your money back, if it doesn't satisfy you for any reason, you can send your money back and get your refund. She's like, okay. I'm like, cool. I just made $30. And that was my very first customer I got before I even got my product, because I shared her story. So one, that's a lesson in leveraging your upline. And two, that's a lesson in promoting authentically with results. Okay? Quick sale. I'll tell you this again too. I actually had to unfollow Autumn Calabrese because I was so sick of seeing everybody share 21-day fix photos in their newsfeed. Some of you are probably offended right now because you probably did that. If you're sharing other people's photos, it's not going to end up in people's newsfeed. And if you're sharing those product promotions, that's basically a quick sale. And people in your newsfeed are going to view that as, oh, she's just trying to sell me that product. Lindsay, with those testimonials that she was showing with the photos, those people didn't even know what product it was, and they didn't care because there were the results, right? That's why your inbox filled up with all people with inquiries. There was no product mentioned. It was results. It's baiting the hook with what the fish wants. And so that's a authentic versus a quick sale. Another version of a quick sale would be, you know, I'm starting a challenge group on February 17th, and it's going to be with this 21-day fix program, and we're going to be starting on the 17th, and we're going to end 21 days later, and just all these ridiculous details. Like, there's going to be prizes, and it's $140 to start. You just gave them all the information. Why would you do that? They don't even have to ask you any questions. You want people to ask you questions, yes?
Yes.
So don't give them all the details right away. Lindsay covered that. I don't have to explain anymore. Facts tell, stories sell. I think you got that. You watched the How to Promote video. I'll do a little example for you in there, too. But instant pleasure versus long-term stability. Instant pleasure is going to be you wanting that challenge pack commission, that 2 Success Club points. So you have to ask yourself, do I want this instant pleasure or do I want long-term stability? Instant pleasure is going for the quick sale, going for that, you know, $40, $50, $60 you make from that challenge pack, or that 2 Success Club points that's only going to help you for that 30 days. Long-term stability is thinking of that person and that relationship that you have and the 2,000 plus people that they know that you don't know. Then that really flips the table when you start thinking long-term, yes? That even may make you get on the phone. Right? When you're thinking of the long-term relationship, you will go out of your way to get on the phone with that person or meet with them virtually rather than trying to close them on Facebook. So you want to get personal right away. When you're promoting, you want to keep it general, save the specifics. You want to get personal right away. So if I were to promote using some form of authentic way, like results, or like we did lately with the 21-day fix, if I were to meal plan that was simple to follow. Would you be interested? Test group starting soon, few spots left. Didn't mention anything about Beachbody or the 21-day fix, but that's another authentic way to post. Very general, save the specifics. And I want to get personal with them right away. For those that comment and for those that like, I'm going to message them and say, hey, Joe, thanks for your inquiry about the test group. I'm sure you have some questions for me. I have some for you too. When can you chat? And by chat, I don't mean on Facebook chat. I mean get on the phone or virtually meet them using Zoom or Skype. I want to get personal with them right away. Ladies, when you like to go shopping and you try on a dress and you haven't looked at the price tag yet, so you look in that mirror and you're like, dang. Are you going to buy that dress? Do you care how much it costs? No. It's how you feel. Guys, you're in the car parking lot. You see that new Corvette? You sit in the seat. You're like, dang. You're going to buy that car. Well, some of you. I should have used a better example. But the thing that I'm getting at is you're buying based on emotion, right? How you feel. That's why people invest in you, based on how you make them feel. When you're getting on the phone with them or meeting with them virtually through the computer, you're showing them that you are going the extra mile and that you are investing in them and that you are thinking of the long-term relationship. Yes?
Yes.
If you're thinking of the challenge pack and the challenge pack sale or the success code points, you're just going to try and close them on Facebook. I don't have time to meet with this person on the phone. I'm just going to carry it through conversation on Facebook. Good luck with that. Because what we're finding, raise your hand, if you've gotten on the phone in the last few weeks. Raise your hand if you've gotten on the phone with prospects in the last few weeks. Keep that hand up if you've gotten results from being on the phone or meeting virtually with those prospects in the last few weeks. Raise your hand if you've gotten better results on the phone than you have on Facebook. Some of you put your hands down. Well, we need to talk about how to talk on the phone then. Right? You can put your hand down. You can see visibly that you can get better results when you get personal with people right away. You're reaching that emotion. In other words, strike while the iron is hot. Get personal with them right away, and you're going to form them. Go ahead. So let's talk about following up like a pro. Amateur versus a professional. I just gave you an amateur way, was to close on Facebook. Now granted, some of you may be talking with people living in other countries. I don't know. I just Skyped with a girl from Australia. What's your excuse? So get on the phone with them and have a virtual meeting. An amateur is going to try and close them on Facebook. A professional is going to act like a professional, go out of their way to schedule a meeting with them and get to know them better on a personal level, yes? Posture. So before you even get on the phone, you got to channel your inner Victoria, right? Because you got to have that conviction, or else you're going to get on that phone and you're going to crumble. And that's why some of you are afraid to get on the phone, is because you're afraid of what that person is thinking, or afraid of what you're going to say, or saying the perfect thing. That is why we have scripts for you to follow. And some of you will say that you don't like those scripts because it doesn't sound like you. Well, there's a reason why it doesn't sound like you, because what you're saying isn't working. Right? That's the right there. I got that from an audio. So the posture that you want to have going into this phone call is very strong, very convicted. Like, you're going to run this test group whether this person joins you or not. You're going to be here a year from now whether this person joins you or not, right? You will grow this organization whether this person joins you or not. And that's the attitude that you have to have. Because if you go into that phone call or that virtual meeting thinking, oh my God, I really hope that this person joins me, that posture is going to get you killed. They're going to slam you with objection, and you're going to try and sell your way out of there, and they're just going to end up telling you that they'll think about it. And nobody wants that response, right? So you want to go into this conversation with an interview mindset. When I do three-way calls with my new coaches, I have them introduce me to their prospect, and then I edify or I talk up or I build up that new coach, for one, for themselves, because it makes them feel real good. And 2, for that prospect that, this person with all these results is saying all these good things about my friend and she just started. Man, that sounds like an environment that I want to be in, right? But I'm going to edify them, and I'm going to tell that prospect, Susan brought me on this line so that I can help her practice. She would really like to make this as a profession, as a career, and so she's done something and she's brought me on the line so that I can help her practice. And for one, that word practice just completely alleviates that prospect's mind, like, oh, okay, this is just practice. Little do you know, it's just practice, right? But I'm also going to say that, I don't know if it's going to work out between us, but what I'm going to do is I want to ask you a couple questions and interview you to see if you'd be a right fit for Becky's team. To see if you'd be a good fit for Brianna's test group. And right then and there, that prospect it went from, oh, this person's getting me on the line because they want to sell me something and I'm going to show them I got all these questions and I'm going to tell them I can't afford it and I'm so busy, to, whoa, this person's going to interview me. I wonder if I have a spot. I wonder if they're going to pick me. I actually had a prospect. I did a 3-way call last week with a coach, and she asked at the end of the conversation, do you think I'd be a good fit for your test group? It was awesome. How many of you would love it if somebody were to say that to you? You've got to have that posture going into that conversation. You've got to ask those kind of questions. Those words, it's just a simple little tweak, but those words are going to completely flip the table on that person. Okay? Enough about that. Next, mirror gems. You want to mirror their personality. So if they're getting on the phone and they're talking like this, it's okay if you talk like that. But if they get on the phone and they're talking like this, you better lower that down. You better mirror them, right? It's kind of like when you're talking to somebody and you cross your arms and then they cross their arms. Or like, have you ever been talking with somebody and you have a completely different personality and you just don't jive? Or, better example, you've got that one person in your life that you just don't get along with and you just don't know why. There's a conflicting personality right there. It's because they probably have a total opposite personality that you do, and what you don't realize is not everybody's the same. Diversity and harmony. But what you have to do is you can't change them, but you can change you. How am I doing with time? Okay. Time to hit it. But what you can do is you can change yourself. You can change your posture to mirror that person. When you go down to Danny Jotz's website, you'll get more from Gems. So another big thing when you're on the phone is to zip it. I mean, shut up. I mean, shh. Just listen. It's really not about what you say. It's about what you don't say. And that's the one thing that when I get new coaches on those 3-way calls, I ask them, when we get done with the call, what were your takeaways? What did you notice about that conversation? I can't believe how much you didn't say. You just had them talking and talking and talking and talking. When you do all the talking, that's when someone feels like you're selling them. When you let them do the talking, it's like a friendly relationship. It's like a consultation rather than a salesman, right? Just like Christina gave the illustration of the straightener in the mall. That person didn't ask Christina anything about her. They just assumed there was a need and they went after it. And so, I forgot where it was at. Yes. So zip it and just listen. Here's another thing. Just take this. If you get anything, just take this. Don't feel the awkward silence. Don't feel it. Just keep it silent. Because guess what? They'll feel it. You're right. They will keep talking. Even if it's an objection. Well, I don't think I have time. Well, I got all this going on. But, I think I can probably make the time. Don't say anything. Just don't say anything. Okay? Just don't feel the awkward silence. It's not awkward. It's just let them talk. Okay? And then you ask the closing question. So this question is very popular. How many of you have used it in the past couple weeks? How many of you has it helped you close deals? Great. Thank you. On a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being 0 interest application. How many of you will start using the word application? Fill out your application, pick out your challenge pack. When you're finished with your enrollment, text me so I can verify it went through properly for you. Does that sound like you're signing up for something prestigious? Yes, it does. So, let's say for example they don't say attend. Perfect world, they would. Imperfect world, they don't. And we live in an imperfect world. So if they don't say attend, let's say most commonly you might get a 5 or a 6. Okay, what are your concerns? And then just let them talk. Well, I don't know if I can afford this. I don't know how much it is. How do you know if you can't afford it? You know how much it is. Okay. Well, I got this car payment and then we just had to do this. Okay. Well, I don't know what kind of responses you give, but I just say, okay, okay, okay. And I'm writing down these objections because I take notes when I'm on the phone, right? So they say, okay, okay, or I say, okay. And then they keep, feeding into that objection. And most of the time, they're just going to talk themselves right into signing up or enrolling. And that's when that happens, you let me know. It's an awesome time when that happens. But if they don't, then go ahead to the next one. This is the script for your phone call. Or, actually I shouldn't say that. This is the script that you can use to book your appointment. By the way, that middle part of your power hour is where you're booking your appointment, right? That following up, your purpose is to set a goal that day, like Allison said, set an intention for power hour, set how many appointments you're going to book that day. I'm going to book 2 appointments today. So, let's say that they don't say. Let's say they say a 5 or a 6. Okay? Well, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I found that when I understood the 21-day fix fully, I could make the best decision. How can I help you get to a higher number? They're going to tell you exactly what it's going to take for them to get to a higher number. Well, I'd like some more information on the program. I'd like to know how the containers work. I'd like to know more results. Great. Would you watch a video if I sent you one? When do you think you can watch it? So if I gave you a call on Tuesday morning, you'll have watched it, right? Great. Talk to you then. Bye. Simple? Yes? Yes? Yes! Okay, I'm almost done. So this is a script that you can follow. If I sent you a video, would you watch it? Schedule the appointment. And that's exactly, those are the words that I use. That's the words that I teach my team to use. It's simple. You can have curly hair, you can have brown hair, you can have boots on, you can be a dude or a girl, and this will work for you. You don't have to be an outgoing personality. You can hide behind the fact that you think you're shy and still use this. Okay? This is a system that anyone can use. Then when you get them on the phone, these are the 3 questions that I'm asking them after I form them. Did this make sense to you? What did you like best? And on a scale from 1 to 10. If I ask them on a scale from 1 to 10, they say 5 or 6, and then we go through the process of, I know how you feel, I feel the same way, I found this, like Christina said. Then you set up the next follow-up appointment. Guess what I'm going to ask them on that next appointment? You guessed it. Same questions. So, you got a chance to watch that video. Did it make sense to you? What did you like best? Or, what was your question that you like to ask?
Tell me which part resonated with you the most.
Either way. They're going to tell you exactly what they like best. You don't want to ask a question that leads to a negative answer. What did you think about that? Well, let me tell you what I think about that, because I'm an expert and I'm a pro and I can use a pyramid scheme. You're giving them that option to be that expert and to give you a negative answer. So you want to lead into it, a positive answer. On a scale from 1 to 10. And if they're still not a 10, then you just keep going. For some people, it takes them maybe 4 or 5 appointments. Are you willing? Are you willing? Are you willing to give them that time? Why? Because you're going for the long-term relationship. You're not going for the quick sale. Quick sale people say, I don't have time for that. And they're going to be broke and hungry tomorrow. And you're not, because you're going for the